around. I appreciate it. I've got a lot to talk to, as in they brought up 6 off case in their second speech, so I'm going to get on that. The first off case today was this flat tax hurts Americans. And what we really want to stress on here today, because they keep wanting to talk about how this income is, they don't have this income tax anymore, so this money's not going to be taken away from them, but they're going to actually have to pay it out of pocket. And what we're trying to stress here today is we're giving the power back to the consumer and back to the citizens. We can't ensure whether or not people, how they spend their money, or whether they buy magic hits instead of buying their diapers, Sir Adjudicator. And I don't even want to attack the mindset in which an individual has such a cynical belief on society and people in lower poverty levels don't have the capability of budgeting correctly, because that's besides the point. The fact is we're giving the power back to the citizen, and that's really what we're wanting to do here today, and that's what's going to benefit the economy, because we can see that the consumer and the citizens are what driving the economy, as they say, and how we agree, and these are the people that are going to really affect the economy, so we need to give them their rights and their power back. Their second contention was this regressive tax and how the poor have the less rights. So cross-apply my analysis on how can we really say whether or not the poverty level can really budget or not. It's simply the fact that we're actually giving this tax bracket more of a fair and even balance and more opportunity back to all consumers, not just the upper 10% or the lower 10%, but it's an equal and fair tax, as they even agree to, that they're agreeing that this is fair. They bit that bullet and said that this was a fair tax. The third contention is this lower consumption rate. So adjudicators, that they actually have the ability and control to see what they purchase now. So actually consumption rates could go up. They're getting more money in their pocket on the front end, and they may be able to make wiser and more smart decisions and actually increase the consumption rate. Irregardless, though, of the increase or decrease, we see that the actual power is back in the people and the power back into the industry, and that's what we're needing, the laissez-faire, the free trade approach here. The fourth contention is the businesses are actually going to be paying more. Sir Adjudicator, they're actually paying on the purchases they make, not their profits now. So we're going to see that they could be paying more. It's all going to be based on how they run their business and how they run their production. So they're going to actually pay more on it. And they talk about a study, but I'll get that on case that he just mentioned in his last speech, but I'll hit on that. Their fifth off case was this jobs less. So cross upon my partner's analysis on this industry, is he wasn't saying the industry is not significant, but they also bite the bullet of the large bureaucracy and red tape by saying that all federal industries are large. What we're saying here is that these federal taxes are going to still have to be issued. The return checks are still going to have to be made. These jobs are still going to be required. We're simply stating they're not going to have to read a 30,000-page book in order to do it. It's going to be more simplified. In that they say earlier that 20,000 people, 20,000 apologies isn't significant, but yet then 20,000 jobs from then the IRS isn't going to be significant either. Now is a Sir Adjudicator, because they're wanting to talk about significance, so maybe 20,000 jobs isn't that significant. Point is, these jobs are still going to be needed, and there's not going to be that much shift in the job industry, and not enough to affect us enough to say that it's unbeneficial to the economy. It's not going to hurt the economy. Their final is that below poverty are not the people owning companies or the one investing. I entirely agree. They're not. You know what they are? They're the people who are moving up to the middle class, to the upper middle class. They're the ones getting the disposable income. The rich or the middle income are the ones investing. We see that the middle income invests quite a good portion of their disposable income, where they should. So they do slowly rise, and these are the people that gain and get these small businesses. So we have to give them that opportunity and that fairness. On case, so they talk about this study that how the richest, he brought up the less money they have to pay. And my partner brings up a great point that these are actually done on the richest companies, and that these are the companies who are actually utilizing those loopholes we talked about in our case. So they're the ones who are going through these loopholes, and that's why we're eliminating that. So turn that entire issue and show that that's actually a turn on case, because we're trying to eliminate that. We're trying to make more of a fair tax, and they actually have to pay that. And they talk about need tax subsidies. Well, these tax subsidies, they can gain this by using this fair tax, and these tax subsidies are not actually substantial enough to, entirely hurt the industry if they were removed. This fair tax would allocate for that. And also they say fairness doesn't benefit the economy, and I say it absolutely does, because you give the opportunity back to the consumer, and we are under this free trade, this capitalism approach, so we must support that. So today my vote is going to be the first, the burden of the government. We adjudicator actually supported the resolution today. We gave you judging criteria. They dropped that the debate is about prosperity, so they must agree that this was about prosperity, and they dropped that we have a moral obligation to ensure fairness. So obviously they also want to ensure fairness, and that's what we're doing by a fair tax. The second was the judging criteria. I think we proved today that it's more true than false that it would benefit the U.S. economy by having a fair tax. And my third is going to be a two-world analysis. If you look at the current system, we have an increasing unemployment rate, lack of fairness within our tax bracket. We have people on the streets rioting, protesting for fairness, but if we have this fair tax, we give equal opportunity to the consumer. We increase the economy by increasing consumption, increasing consumer power, and for all of these reasons, for the benefits of the U.S. economy, I must urge